The secret to happiness in 10 minutes or less. My friend, welcome back to another episode of From the Depths. It's a short but powerful one today, so let's dig right in. Why do we do anything in life? It's because we think it's going to make us happy. Why do we want to be in a relationship? Why do we want children? Why do we want the new car or the new house? Why do we want a certain amount of money in the bank? Why do we want to look a certain way or to experience certain things? We could give all kinds of different reasons for wanting the things that we want, but what it all eventually comes down to is one thing. We think it will make us happy. So if we're all seeking for the same thing, happiness, why is it that we can witness so many people who have that which we desire who are not in fact happy? Have you ever gotten something you really wanted only to later discover that, no, that wasn't quite the thing that would make me happy? Or it brought happiness for a little while, but then the shininess of it wore off and it either stopped making you happy or, even worse, started to make you absolutely miserable. What this tells us is that our happiness does not come from the external. Happiness can only be found within. So if we can figure this out just by its logical conclusion, then why is happiness still such an elusive thing that few people come to really find in a lasting and meaningful way? It's because the answer is so simple, it is easy to dismiss, and because simple does not always equate to easy. But here is a very simple formula that will lead to happiness if you follow it wholly. So the secret to happiness in 3 simple steps. Step 1, complete non-resistance to the present moment. Step 2, forgive everything and everyone. Step 3, trust in a higher power greater than yourself. Okay, so let's break this down. Step 1, complete non-resistance. What does this mean? All suffering is caused by the belief that what is currently happening should not be happening. If you believed that all was right with the world, you would probably be completely free from suffering, wouldn't you? So if we allow everything to be as it is, then we automatically shift into a state that is free of suffering. Now, this is not to suggest that what's happening isn't something that we want to change or that we want to take steps towards modifying, but we release resistance to the fact that it is in our experience right now. It's not to live in a place of denial, but equally to not live from a place of resistance. So it's a radical acceptance of what is. And I say radical because it can sometimes feel downright impossible to accept what is. We want to scream and shout and say, no, this shouldn't be happening. I don't want to feel this way. But if we can surrender to our experience and allow it to be, then we shift our own internal state from one of victimhood and disempowerment into one of power and responsibility or ability to respond. Like Rafiki from The Lion King says, you can either run from it or learn from it.
But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it.
And if we can learn from our current reality, our current experience, rather than running from it or saying it shouldn't be happening, then we're going to start to change the way that we're actually responding to and showing up in our present reality. And that will be one that is free from suffering. Because suffering really, truly only exists within the mind. When we say this shouldn't be happening, we suffer. So if we can have radical acceptance of what is, accept the present moment fully, no matter how sucky it might feel, and allow ourselves to feel those sucky feelings. That is step 1 towards happiness. Okay, step 2, forgive everything and everyone. Before we forgive, we need to get clear on what forgiveness really means. Forgiveness is not condoning or agreeing with behavior or actions of another. It is simply the act of letting go of resentment or vengeance towards someone who has harmed you. As Wayne Dyer said, nobody ever dies from a snake bite. They only die if the venom from the bite is allowed to continue coursing through their veins. Where in your life might you be allowing someone else's venom to continue coursing through your veins? Forgiveness is the act of removing the venom. And at its root, all forgiveness is really self-forgiveness. So where are you allowing resentment towards yourself to stay alive within you? Forgive it and you will begin to live free. Get the venom out of your veins. Just think how good it's going to feel when you're free of that. It feels amazing. So forgiveness to everything and everyone. And finally, trust in the power that is greater than yourself. Trust in the power that brings life back into all the plants of the world every spring. Trust in the power that breathes your lungs and beats your heart. Trust in the power that put the earth, the sun, and the moon in the exact coordinates necessary for everything that we experience to exist at all. It's the power that thinks your thoughts and feels your emotions, and it's the awareness that observes all of it. And here's a side note. We can call that power God or the universe or Yahweh or Allah or whatever name you want to give it. A power that great really does not care which name you give it. Because let's be honest, names are just words, and words can only point to things, but they are not that thing.
That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title.
Do you care if your best friend calls you by your full proper name or by a nickname that they associate you with? You are not your name, are you? Neither is God, the universe, the higher power that created everything and keeps all life in perpetual motion. So from now on, let's just agree to reduce the importance of the name itself and focus more on the being that the name is actually trying to identify. So when you follow these 3 simple but not necessarily easy steps, your vibration will naturally rise. You will naturally begin to feel more at peace. Your mind will soften and relax, and you will automatically shift into a new state of being, a state of being that is going to feel a lot like happiness. So are you ready to let go of everything you thought you had to cling to so tightly, to let go of constantly thinking that happiness is around the next corner, in the next relationship, or the next promotion, or even the next vacation, and begin to experience real happiness that no person or circumstance could ever have the ability to take away from you? I'm recording this on Valentine's Day, so a happy late Valentine's Day to you. And I hope you remember that you are the greatest love of your life. Thanks for being here with me today and sharing your energy with me. And until next time, my friend, keep rising.